is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with your host, me, for another trading day. I'm just mixing it up a little bit here. Don't want you to get too set in your ways. But as always, we like to come to you here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we had huge volume to the downside. Today we've got fairly decent volume. Doesn't look like it's going to come in as big. Up 7 points on the S&P. Cash at 25.64. This is about where I wanted to pull the trigger and did earlier in the day and added some positions. Kind of like this, what you have. We've got a lot of big earnings out after the bell. My guess is that those earnings will be good and the stocks will sell off a little bit. So what do you have? That's it. Gotham City, Florida. No, I'm down here in Clearwater. So just that. So anyway, we've got a bounce after a hard day down. Everybody wanted to buy the dip. They did it. The question is there anything left in the tank to push this market up higher? And the internals for about 2 weeks have been deteriorating. We've got a summation index in both the S&P and the NASDAQ that are headed lower. Actually, the NYSE and the NASDAQ that have both been holding and heading lower for a while. That tends to mean that the surprises will come to the downside. The president should be speaking any minute about drugs and opioids. He's been none too kind to the pharmaceutical industry, and there may be some more sniping at those. They already had kind of a bad day already with the IBB down. What is it? It's down $8. Earnings weren't all that great in many of those biotech stocks, and I think the overhang of probably getting pummeled a little bit here in the next few minutes, the IBB could still see some downside before the end of the day. This, of course, is going to be, or at least this address from the president in the next few minutes is going to be about the opioid crisis. And there is a new drug that you would get injected with that slowly decays over time. And the thought is that if people are going to stay on opioids, they're going to give them this, because then there's no way for them to sell the pills off to somebody else. It would just be a standard level. But it's like you get this shot, and it's like it lasts 6 months. So can figure out what that is, but gonna be tough. So we'll look at that, but we might see some additional weakness by the end of the day from the IBB if someone throws a Molotov cocktail at these guys before the end of the day. We still have a lot of political turmoil around taxes. Probably going to see more about that next week. I think a lot of people are more than willing to nail themselves to the cross to make sure that any tax changes don't happen. And I think I saw a survey, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, of all the things that people worried about in the stock market for investors. I think it was 65% said the biggest thing was this tax bill. So in just the way that politicians act, my guess is that someone will do something to make sure and torpedo it. The stock market will then head down, facing enormous pressure and lowering prices and a hostile electorate because, of course, their stock prices are going down, and they haven't done that for such a long time that any small pullback will bring out the pitchforks. They'll go after the politicians again, and maybe that will be the pop. But I see kind of a drop coming here. And as I said in my newsletter, if you look at the underlying fundamentals statistically, and don't try to impart anything on them, a method that's called data first, we're about as stretched as we are and have been in 17 years. Those snapbacks come fairly quickly. Maybe it's not this tax deal, maybe it's something else. But again, right now, if a big surprise is coming, it's coming to the downside. Maybe we go a little higher. But that's why I would probably stay out at least until we converge once again from the fundamentals to the actual price of the market. Even the most conservative people think that we're at a 19 PE going forward on the S&P 500. That's where historically you would have been right 95% of the time to sell and wait until the PEs came back to about 12 to rebuy on a actual I don't have it on the NDX. I have it on the S&P and the NYSE. The NASDAQ is just a question in the den. The NASDAQ is basically a index that is worthless. It is the equivalent of asking 5 people who's going to be president and saying, you know, on a national television show that you've got a great poll. You just don't have enough out there to actually do it. And, you know, when one stock's 14% of the index, what good is that index? It's not. So, yeah, well, I mean, it's worthless in the sense that if you're trying to statistically go back and put anything in to it, that it's incredibly difficult, almost impossible. Maybe you have a sense of it, like a surfer who looks at waves all day. But if you wanted to try to put it into numbers, I don't think you can. I think it's one of those things that's incredibly tough. Even if you just went back, 5 years, Apple went from 7% of the NASDAQ to now 14 or 15% of the NASDAQ. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So anyway, back to get my train back on thought. Yeah, it just I guess there's another question in here. The problem is one that we've talked about before in the NASDAQ too, and that is survivorship bias. There's a lot of arguments how to actually take care of all the stocks that went out of business. In the NASDAQ, you are 10 times more likely than the NYSE to see a stock go to zero. And that's also another problem that becomes incredibly tough to ferret out over the back side. And good thing to check out, survivorship bias. But in the NASDAQ, especially because of the .com thing, one of the hardest things to figure out the right way to calculate it. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls. Now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, and we're back. Take a look. We're up 7.5 points on the S&P Gash. The where's the volume here? Volume's in at 2.4 billion shares, so we've got a lot of cash. But my guess is that we are going to see fairly decent earnings sold tonight in technology. And we're probably going to see a lot of brouhaha in taxes next week. And a lot of people are going to say, you know, I've got some huge winnings here. Maybe we'll take a little. The politicians will all play politic games. The market will sell off for a little bit. We'll probably have a good opportunity to buy at much lower prices. They'll finally feel the wrath of the electorate and decide to quit playing games, get some kind of tax deal done, even if it's not what we're thinking. The most important part, of course, is dropping that 37% corporate tax rate down to 20%. If we get that, I think you could hold some stuff. But my guess is that after the wrangling next week, where it starts in earnest on this tax bill, that we're going to see anybody do anything they can to derail this thing on both sides, actually. And if you go back and look historically, there are a ton of parallels with Caesar and his dealings with his own Senate back then. I was actually watching a special where they put kind of the two people together, and why the Senate was in Rome was actually filled with kind of the same people that we have today in our Senate, which are a bunch of people that are real rich and didn't really care. They were getting a lot of money from other people to get things passed. There's very little new out here under the sun. Saying about that, where is my thingy here? We got to do that. We've got to do a little bit of history today.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Yes, we know how Caesar ended. But I don't know if it's going to be a perfect corollary between then and now. But just the special I was watching last night talked about how the Senates and the senators were not much different than we have today. Said one thing, did another, and eventually, a lot of things happened. On this day in 1881, the Earp brothers faced off against, oh, did I play that? I didn't play it, did I?
Well, it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1881, the Earp brothers face off against the Clanton McGlory gang in a legendary shootout at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. After silver was discovered nearby in 1877, Tombstone quickly grew into one of the richest mining towns in the Southwest. Wyatt Earp, a former Kansas police officer working as a bank security guard, and his brothers Morgan and Virgil, the town marshal, represented law and order in Tombstone, although they also had reputations for being power-hungry and ruthless. These weren't great guys. The only thing was that the Clanton McGlory gang were even worse guys. They were arrested, and 30 days later, judge really didn't think that it was too bad a deal that they killed off all those people. Literally everybody, although I don't think it's in this, I think everybody was shot. There wasn't anybody that wasn't wounded in this shootout. It seems to me that in the movies I've seen, it really doesn't show that. But Doc, all the people came out with some level of wounds. So there wasn't anybody unscathed in all of this. But kind of the beginning of the end for the West. There were a few more episodes out here, but probably the Wild Wild West was greatly exaggerated because of the pulp fiction novels of the time. But on this day in 1881, kind of the beginning of the end of the West. So let's get into a lot of charts here, and we'll start looking at them. If I can find my little button here. Had some email questions to me about if anything had actually changed in the IYT today. We talked a little bit about the 3x3 displaced moving average, and all you really want is this thing to stay underneath it, and I think we're going to see that today. Where's the price on that? I got to find it here. Okay, 177.87 is what I have. So we'll take a look at this. But this is, as long as it stays under the 3x3, you're pretty good for that double repo pattern and move back down to 170. Another email, and of course you can always email me at path@tfnn.com, is the TLT. We talked about this getting down to this 122 area. Tried a little bounce today. I still suspect that we're going to get down to that 122 at least, maybe into the 121 handles on this. You tried to bounce today. Volume is pretty light in the TLT, but I think you still got that 120 level at least, if not 121.50, that you're going to get back down into this gap. That gap had 11 million shares on the 17th of May. We got into it with 10 million shares yesterday, but the energy on the way down from the September 7th high has been about the equal of it going up. So I suspect you're going to get a little bit more of a washout, especially where everybody's on one side of the boat in bonds. It seems like it could always go a little bit further. We got so many earnings here today. I won't spend a lot of time on the earnings tonight. But I made my feelings clear. I think that they're going to do, for the most part, everybody's going to do okay, and they will sell them anyway. What's going on for GNC? They had their earnings. This thing's down. We talked about the problems maybe for a year in the vitamin business, and that is that the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, changed the way you can advertise and push drugs. GNC, we've talked about this having maybe the worst of both worlds. Maybe half their locations are in malls, and nobody, of course, is going to malls anymore. They also have the problem of a very high margin product and you can order, of course, vitamins from Amazon and other companies, and that's been a problem too. I don't see anything changing this. I mean, you're cursed if you're in a mall to begin with, and a bricks and mortar business. You're doubly cursed if you're in a business that has been retracting for a little while because of the new FTC regulations over the last year covering no celebrity endorsements. So what do you have? Well, you're down on heavy volume. You're certainly going to test 657, which is the May 12th low out here. I don't know how this thing actually gets any better ever. The business may just be another one of the roadkills on Amazon's, well, I guess the notches on their belt, right? That's what it was? Or the notches on the grip of the, what was it? What was that thing? You had to have notches on your belt, notches on your bedpost, or notches on the pistol grip. Anyway, big deal. When we come back, we'll be talking about golf.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Anyway, Callaway Golf came out with numbers. They had a huge spike, a massive breakout that's all reversed here today. It's back into the trading range, but it's still up 3%. So keep an eye on that. A lot of movement in the satellite business. Intelsat, this thing is cratered out here. we've talked a lot about how the Amazons and the Teslas of the world all have their alter egos in space travel now. And, they've dropped what was about $20,000 a pound to orbit to 10,000 pounds to orbit. And now they're getting down in the neighborhood of $2,000 of a pound to orbit. So there's, the price is coming down huge. Now, the existing satellite companies, they've got satellites up there. They've already, they're going to have to continue paying the people that launched it 5 years ago when these cheap prices were not there. The question is whether or not these guys can make it against a brand new bunch of people out here that are launching satellites at a much lower cost. And we're going to see those from Facebook to Amazon and Google. They've all talked about putting up their own constellation of satellites like Intelsat has. So there's a great deal of those. Spirit Airlines, one of those that actually did fairly well, up 7% today. Again, this thing spiked much higher, but it's back into the trading range, got to $38.42. This is kind of what I'm looking at in maybe what will happen tomorrow. My guess is that a lot of those tech stocks that have been on a huge run probably won't do horrible, but everybody will use it as a time to sell the news, I suspect, going into the troubles of next week and taxes. So you got some kind of signals out here that are telling you things probably not bad, but you're still finding sellers everywhere. Quintiles is a company, if you're unfamiliar with these guys, it's gone in and out of business several times. These are the human rat business. You go to them and they pay you $3,000 to stay in their home, in their place, while they feed you drugs that maybe your hair falls out or your teeth fall out or maybe your eyeballs fall out. Hard to know, but you're the test lab rat for these guys, and they test new drugs on you. This is why this company's gone out of business a few times and come back at least once. I'm thinking maybe twice. Anyway, Quintiles, Q is the symbol on here, actually doing well. Of course, anytime you got a lot of new drugs hitting and trying to get to market, these guys are doing the tests. They make some decent juice. They even make some money on the backside many times if these drugs do well. Ambarella, I haven't talked about this one for a while. It's kind of just hanging up here at the highs, although there's some rumors spreading for the last few days that there's a buyout coming. If it does not come, and I'm not exactly sure why someone would want to buy it, they make the compression chips for GoPros and other cameras. But I think they're going to come under more and more pressure in the near future. Certainly, you've got some juice back up here into the highs, but it's hard for me to think that this company's worth any more than it was on August 28th. But not much movement in that one today. We've got a few that were probably overly short. O'Reilly was one. It's up about $9 today. Although it opened up much lower, it is reversed and come back up again. Just huge short interest, and when people started covering the shorts on this thing this morning, it just ran the other way, running all the shorts out of it. Was the earnings good? No. Was it bad? No. It's just, when everybody hops on one stock, you got to keep a wide berth on these things because they can go fairly quickly. One of the ones that we've talked about on the show for many times is Buffalo Wild Wings. They had 5 days to cover. That means that the average volume for the last 30 days would take them 5 days just to get the shorts out of this thing. That's why you don't want to be in stocks that have medium or lower volume and huge amounts of shorts. The exit is as small as a theater when someone screams fire. And Buffalo Wild Wings did not go out of business, and that's kind of what you need to see in these stocks that are highly short. Someone said, well, I made a good call on Tesla yesterday. We'd actually covered Tesla, and I was saying that it would get back up to 360, but I needed to see the shorts get out of it. They did not, so I did not short Tesla. Same thing at Buffalo Wild Wings. I can't look at a stock that would take me to get 5 days out of this thing on just regular volume and know that I can't easily lose 20%. Maybe the puts or calls, you can play these things, but I don't see any reason to be playing the equity on it. I was not in Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, some of the other stocks, especially the biotechs, saw some weakness in their earnings, and I think we said that last night or yesterday during the show. I was looking for these things to kind of go down a little bit more. Bristol Myers Squibb, of course, this one's headed down. Volume starting to pick up a little bit. Not quite as bad as it could have been. You want to see, if you're bearish, you wanted to see more than 17 million shares. You got about 8 million shares. So probably at least some support levels coming in on this one. The other one that dropped the Baby Ruth in the punch bowl is Celgene. And this one was gut shot. So I don't know if there's anything else you can say about this one. It's the second of many gaps on the way down. But yeah, when things are going well, it's heaven or hell with all of these in this sector. So what else do we have? Does that do it? Did we go through all those? Oh, nope. There's some other ones out here. Pennsylvania is changing their laws on gambling. Is that right? I don't have PIN? Or is it PSA? Maybe it's PSA. Is this it? PIN, no. Oh, this is public storing. I'll get to PIN in a minute. Public storage, this whole sector is feeling the heat today. They didn't turn in as good in numbers as a lot of people thought they would. These, of course, run these little places where you store all your extra stuff, $50, $100 a month, to let it sit over there, and you're probably never going to do anything with it. But they just sit there until there's a ghastly reality show where people buy and sell these abandoned lockers and public storage. Anyway, down on huge volume. 192.15 is your next low. My guess is that's where this is headed, the July 27th low. Do we have time for PIN? We don't, but I will talk about it. Anyway, I think it's PIN Gaming. They are down, and that is all about Pennsylvania changing their laws in gaming and freaking out a lot of people. We'll look at this when we come back. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. We'll try to get to everything before the end of the day.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. 9190. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Pin gaming, there apparently is some kind of new law that's kind of a money grab from the state. Going after the gaming facilities in Pennsylvania. That's why Penn National Gaming down fairly strongly, big reversal signal. You can look at it as dark cloud cover to the candle on the 18th of October. So not a whole lot there, but keep an eye on that. That could hurt the earnings, as most of these are actually hooked into the Las Vegas casinos over time. There were a few more I wanted to look at out here, and I can't remember what it was. Okay. We were talking about satellites. IRDM. This is the winner on that side of the satellite business. They apparently have lower cost satellites, and there are a lot of people looking at this one as a good sign. Their earnings kind of showing that they can handle the lower price and competition at least for a while. Come on. Do I have... Come on, Mr. Iridium. There we go. Okay, so this is actually up. It looks like volume's going to be okay, but not great. Just going to hold the highs out here. In the gold business, ABX lower by $1.13, which is 7%. This is breaking through the July 10th low with 15 million shares, with 20 million shares already. So now you're targeting that 37 million share low on December 15th in Barrick Gold. So that's telling you got at least, I think, a few days before anything changes in the gold miners. That's probably going to put a little bit of a curse on all of them for a little while over the next few days. Is that it? No, it didn't. There's a few more on my list. INSY. Its CEO is under indictment for fraud. And I think that tells you everything. In a pharmaceutical business, your CEO gets indicted for fraud, you're in problems. This one also not a big part of the IBB, but I think it's in it. And that's also put a little bit of a pale on the IBB. Okay, QSII, another one. This one kind of reversed out of here. This is Quality Systems. Opened a little higher, went straight down. Fairly ugly signal in this one. I don't know much about it. And we did Celgene. We did Bristol Myers Squibb. So I think we've got all of them. One of the things going on with Apple right now is, of course, they are having problems with yield on the version 10, which is supposed to go on sale Friday or Monday or something. I'll have to go back and look at it. So what do we have here? Well, I wanted to get back into this. We talked about with Tom on Friday the Pixel 2, which is Google's new smartphone. They're having problems with the manufacturers of their screens right now. People are starting to squawk. Apple, of course, has basically the same problems probably coming to them. So I'm really thinking over the next day or so, when these 10s start shipping, if these things start having the same problem as the Pixel 2, then Google might have some, they may have a bigger issue than Google, because Google has, and doesn't get that much money out of the phones they sell, although they're doing fairly well with this. Google did smack up to 1016 on October 18th. It's kind of come off a bit. It's now trying to hang around these highs. So don't really know. There are some things going on with Google, and that is that they've got some lawsuits. They've been kind of willy-nilly defunding some of the channels on YouTube. And I think they kind of have the goods, the people that are suing them have the goods on Google. There were a lot of lawsuits about whether or not a cake, what do you call them, a cake place would put various things in icing on it, and it ended up being a big brouhaha going to the Supreme Court. And basically, if you're a retail business, you can't not handle people coming through the door. And that is the lawsuit against Google. They're actually taking that lawsuit. I think it was gay people wanted a wedding cake or something. They're taking that and saying that there's no difference between that and any other opinion that someone has, as long as they're not asking to hurt someone, that Google is no different than that cake bunch, that they can't refuse people just because they don't like their opinion, as long, again, as no one's asking to hurt somebody else. And a lot of people legally, I've seen the stuff over the last couple of days, looks like they have a pretty good case. Google is no different than the cake folks. And that may be a bigger problem in the near future, where they want to make sure that they only have opinions on channels that they approve of. A lot of people saying Google has the right as a business owner, kind of a First Amendment right not to associate themselves with anybody. But the question is, if they do this, what is the difference between them and the baker who didn't want to write something specific about something they disagreed with on the cake? And a lot of people are saying that Google's probably going to be in pretty hot water on this. Now, it may take this 3 months to get in front of some judges, but 3 or 4 attorneys saying that Google's going to lose this, and that may be a big problem. Now, of course, next Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see Facebook and Google and the rest of these guys in front of Congress, and they're going to probably get grilled a little bit about this. So just when we're talking about why some of these things might sell off for the first couple of days of next week, even when it's typically strong, it might be a variety of things, and it may be just Google and Facebook facing the principals next week in Congress. So keep an eye on it. Oh, yeah, okay. Now, on Facebook, this is started kind of headed down. I would not be surprised to, because these guys have done a lot of wrong, to get fried in front of Congress next week. Would not be surprised to see 165 in Facebook next Monday and Tuesday. Let's take a look at Microsoft. As I said, Microsoft has been doing everything great for a number of years. We'll look at Intel here in just a second. But again, absolutely priced for perfection. With a perfect earnings, could they stay up here? Yes. But my guess is that the best you could hope for is maybe 50 cents or a buck higher. And you know, if they do something wrong, $2-3 lower. We'll look at Intel when we wrap up the show here in the last segment.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Wow!
Okay, if you've never heard it before, Intel and Microsoft, sometimes called Wintel. And what do you know about this? Well, it's fun on a straight line. The question is just how good can it get? I like Intel. It's broken out long term. But, man, it certainly makes me think that maybe this thing's a little better off than it should be. I think it's going to be okay. I think earnings are going to be okay. I just suspect that we are probably at some levels where if you'd been in this one, you probably take the money and wait for the pullback to go ahead and buy it again. As I said before, could this be a $60 stock in 2 years? I think more likely than not. So what else can you say about it? That was about it. Both of these look good, but so did Amazon look good last November when it lost its cookies. And that's it. Sometimes everybody's in a stock. And you just see, everybody dying to get into the SMHs or dying to get into stuff. These things kind of like a rubber band. You don't know exactly when they're going to bust, but when they do, man, you get snapped pretty hard by it. And these things just look awful, Rich. I'm going to say that if you're not thinking about selling some of these, that you're probably getting a little greedy. If these things have run to perfection, and why I love Intel long term, and I love Microsoft, I just don't understand the risk reward of holding these things through the earnings. You might get a buck up higher in the morning, but again, I'm probably thinking that most of these things start selling off. We got basically what I was looking for, which was more positions. There's a sector that I had in the newsletter this morning. I'm going to look and see how those stocks are doing before the end of the day. If I find a few of those, I may add a couple more positions in the newsletter. But I'd be a little nervous out here and watch for a sell-off into the close. Good numbers being sold after the bell on Intel and Microsoft, and Google would also tell you something too. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.